Heyo there, what do you hear, what do you say? My name is Sandkazer, and I think I've made the commitment now to publish 2 videos a week. And I think I want each video to be better than the next in some way. Or maybe that's probably the wrong way to put it. I want to learn some skill that I didn't in the last video. So now I think I'm pretty comfortable with putting sources in Obsidian. I'm pretty comfortable when it comes to sort of like the websites I'm sort of using to sort of figure out what resources I'm going to use. I I'm still a bit awkward at this, to be honest, right? It's still like pretty unnatural just having like this one way conversation, but I think I'll get better at it over time. Um, I I think that next video I make on Sunday, I think that's what I'm going to. I think what I'm going to do then is I'll learn like some actual editing skills, because right now basically like what I've been doing is just getting like a single picture and just adding it on, and it's just not really that interesting, to be honest. It's not really like something you want to see. I don't really feel very comfortable showing my face. It's not really something I want to do. So I think that I just want to sort of, I think what I should do at some point in time is just write down all the skills I need to be like a better content creator, and just sort of like think about what I sort of need to do to appeal to like a wider audience. I have like a sort of rough idea as to what I want to be and what I want to talk about. The problem is basically like just improving like the video, the quality of the videos. I think my mic is okay. When it comes to like the quality, I mean, it's good enough as it needs to be, right? I had a previous mic, obviously it wasn't very good, but I upgraded, so this one should be a bit better. But yeah, I think enough about that. I think the main thing that I'd like to talk about now is just, I think that a lot of people aren't really comfortable with where they are right now in life, and in general. I've sort of noticed that a lot of people will like report to be dissatisfied, have like a lot of dissatisfaction, a lot of annoyance at where they are in life, but then they just don't really do anything about it. Like a friend of mine I know, he went through a very similar situation. With me as well. Like he and I had like a very similar situation. But the thing is that I don't really understand is that like even though I went through the same situation as he did, he sort of is using that as a sort of excuse to like not really put in the effort, not really do the work that he needs to do, not really like do enough to like sort of achieve the goals he wants to achieve. And he basically says, "Oh well, I'll just leave it to next year to allow things to get better." And for me, I just don't really understand that. Um, why would you use that as an excuse, right? Because that's what it is fundamentally at the end of the day. It's an excuse, right? You're basically saying, well, if something bad happens in my life, then I'm just going to like put all of my goals, everything I want on the back burner. And I can sort of understand it. For some things, there probably are some things that are probably so severe that you're probably going to have to sort of take a deep breath and just sort of think about where you want to go from here. But the thing that he sort of was going through is something that I think that most people go through in their entire lives when you sort of think about it. And for him to suddenly just sort of see that and just think, well, I guess this is my time to throw in the proverbial towel, that's a bit strange. But I'm using this as like a sort of learning experience. I'm not using this to bash or demean or sort of put down my friend, right? I think that this should be a wake up call that no matter how disciplined you think you are, right? There's always going to be like some part of you in the back of your mind that sort of has like a sort of tendency to want to give up, a tendency to sort of like give in and just say, enough's enough. You've done enough. Time to rest your hat, so to speak, right? And I don't accept that. I don't think that is acceptable. I think that, for me anyway, I'm not making any sort of prescriptive claims about what other people should do. I think that generally speaking, I feel like my view is that I'm like very much like an individualist when it comes to like the goals that you have in life, right? A lot of people, they sort of draw their support from community a lot. Others draw from religion. Others draw from, I don't know, the community. Others draw from, I don't know, just volunteering, right? And that's all fine and dandy, right? I think that everyone is sort of on their own path, and I don't really think it makes sense to sort of critique other people's goals. Because whenever you critique someone else, right, the reason as to why you're critiquing them is usually because you have your goals in mind, right? So, for example, if I say someone is doing something bad, right, that's in relation to my values and my goals and my desires, right? But presumably they have like a completely different set of goals, values, and desires. Otherwise, that you wouldn't even critique them in the first place, right? So I think that it's just generally speaking, unless the goal itself like impacts me or I think like negatively um, impacts society in some sense to a sufficient degree, I'll normally just sort of just acknowledge that they're different and just move on, right? Because that's all you can do, right? At the end of the day, everyone's different. Everyone's on their own sort of path. Everyone's on their own sort of grind. But I think for me, I I want to be a good YouTuber. I don't want to just be like, I don't want to have a lot of clout. I don't want to have a lot of money. I want to make good content, right? I want to make a video that I'm proud of. And that's going to be like my number one priority sort of moving forward. Because right now, all the videos I've been making, I'll be frank, are just not very good. I think that like they're just shoddily done. The audio quality is not the best, I suppose. The the image is pretty static. There's not much in the way of visuals. Thumbnails are pretty lackluster. Description is non-existent, but that's fine, right? I'm just going to have to try to get better and better and better every time, right? And I think that that's just the number one thing that I just need to be cognizant of, right? The fact that I'm trying, right? That I'm like putting my hat in the ring. That I want to be better, right? I think that's a good sign, right? And I hope that this goes somewhere. To be honest, I have like a lot of things that I want to achieve this year, but even if I don't, I want to make a bunch of YouTube videos, right? Regardless of what happens, regardless of whether or not I succeed in my other avenues of life or not, I want to make a bunch of YouTube videos. I want to see how it goes. So yeah, this is Sandkazer signing off.